The final nail in the coffin for diesel trucking was just quietly hammered in, and legacy transport companies never saw it coming. For over a century, diesel engines have held an absolute monopoly on global supply chains. Every highway, freight corridor, and logistics network was built around a simple truth: if you want to move 80,000 pounds of cargo across the country, you burn fossil fuels. But while legacy truck manufacturers were busy tweaking diesel emission systems and arguing that long-haul electrification was physically impossible, Tesla was silently building something far more dangerous. Leaked logistics filings reveal Tesla has secretly begun deploying a massive cross-country network of 1.2 megawatt Megacharger corridors directly along major interstates. This isn't a pilot program or a small test site at a single factory. This is an industrial-scale energy grid designed to rewrite the rules of global transportation. To understand why diesel executives are suddenly panicking, you have to look at the one flaw that critics swore would kill electric Class 8 trucks: downtime. In the commercial trucking industry, a vehicle only makes money when its wheels are moving. A standard passenger EV charging at a 150 kilowatt station is fine for a road trip, but if you plug an 80,000-pound commercial rig into a standard charger, it takes hours to recharge. For fleet managers operating on razor-thin margins, sitting at a charger for 2 hours isn't just an inconvenience, it's financial suicide. Legacy transport companies assumed this physical bottleneck would buy them decades. They believed that battery weight and recharge times would keep electric trucks trapped in local port drayage and short depot-to-depot runs. They were completely wrong. Tesla didn't just build a bigger charger, they fundamentally re-engineered high-voltage power delivery using the Megawatt Charging system standard. We are talking about 1.2 megawatts of direct current power dumped straight into the truck's high-voltage architecture. To put that in perspective, a single 1.2 megawatt stall delivers enough raw electrical power to run roughly 1,000 average residential homes simultaneously. Liquid-cooled architecture, pushing that amount of current through a standard cable would melt the copper instantly. Tesla utilizes a specialized liquid-cooled charging cable and connector, actively pumping coolant to maintain thermal equilibrium during continuous high-amperage transfer. Next-gen 4680 structural cell architecture. By pumping electricity at insane rates into next-gen 4680 battery packs, Tesla officially brought long-haul charging downtime down to absolute zero. 30-minute recovery cycle. In a 30-minute charging window, the exact duration required by federal law for a commercial driver's mandatory brake, the Tesla Semi recovers over 60% of its total range. The charging time is no longer a delay. It is seamlessly integrated into unavoidable driver rest cycles, completely neutralizing diesel's last remaining operational defense. The ultimate proof isn't happening on a test track, it's happening on real freight corridors. Recent deployment updates along key logistics corridors like Interstate 5 and Interstate 10 show Megacharger hubs strategically placed near massive distribution hubs and port regions. Fleet operators who ran real-world trials on cross-border logistics routes are seeing economic data that diesel simply cannot touch. When you run those numbers across a fleet of 50 or 100 trucks driving 100,000 miles a year, the math becomes brutal. While the Megacharger network expands along major interstates, the real shift is happening inside Tesla's industrial machine. At Gigafactory Nevada, Tesla has officially shifted from pilot-scale validation to high-volume manufacturing. Recent operational data reveals nearly one-third of all active manufacturing, engineering, and logistics roles at the facility are explicitly dedicated to scaling the Semi program. Tesla isn't aiming to build a few hundred showcase trucks for press events. They are setting up a factory ecosystem designed to produce up to 50,000 units annually, a volume scale that will flood commercial highways and fundamentally undermine the resale value of legacy diesel fleets. When freight routes become 70% cheaper overnight, traditional trucking companies have two choices: adapt immediately or collapse. We are witnessing the transition of electric heavy transport from an experimental green initiative into a ruthless economic weapon. The infrastructure is going into the ground, the manufacturing capacity is ramping, and the cost per mile has changed forever. Will legacy truck makers like Freightliner and Peterbilt survive this shift, or will Tesla completely monopolize the future of global logistics? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.